What's up guys, and welcome back to WBC Builds, and welcome to my 25,000 subscriber special Q&A video. So guys, I want to start off by just saying thank you all so much. I actually never expected to get here. I barely even expected to get past 10,000, and here we are at the sort of middle of the third month of the 21st year of this century. I don't even know what I'm saying there, but still, I cannot believe we are now at 21,000 subscribers. But we're not at 21,000 subscribers, are we though? We're at 25, and I don't know what's going on. Anyway guys, cheers to that. And I'm going to drink out my own little mug here. Yeah, that was a subtle little plug. I mean, you can buy these, but just forget about that. Shall we get on with some questions? That's what you guys are here for. So I asked you guys over on Twitter, on YouTube community, and also on Instagram, along with my Discord as well. And I wanted to get some ideas of what people really wanted to sort of talk about and ask me. Now I compiled all of these questions together into sort of big topics and big categories. You can see I'm looking over here to read them now. So let's get started with question number one. And of course, the main question that everyone had to ask is, why Victorian? Why choose this style? What's so good about it? So my answer to that question is, I didn't really choose it, it chose me. It's a really bad answer to this question. No, it's just a style, a period, a time that I've always enjoyed learning more about. The main driver to me is just railway stations and trains and all of that infrastructure. Now I love industry, I love the Industrial Revolution, so it's really nice to see where it comes from and the architecture that goes along with that. Victorian architecture obviously took on the large and the grand and took it to new scales. You've got things like the Crystal Palace and the Royal Albert Hall and all of that sort of stuff going on. So buildings like that really draw me to it, and it seems to draw you guys to it as well. Victorian is one of these words that people really sort of put onto eras and topics and builds, so it's quite nice to go through and deconstruct that so people understand a bit more about what Victorian actually is, and what they've been calling Victorian is definitely not Victorian. So anyway, right, let's get on to another question. I think that one's fairly answered. Question here, what is your favourite style to build in? Now, there's probably a guess that people would say it's Victorian, but Victorian doesn't exist as an overall style, it's just a period. My favourite style of building is, how do you describe it? Regency Georgian. So it's those lovely, elegant, stylish buildings that you really just can't place anywhere else in the world. They look beautiful, they're sort of plain but functional, but then you've got all of the notes of the sort of Roman and Greeks in there, and there's just something about them that I love so much. I don't build enough of them. I really need to build some more of them throughout my world, and in doing Wolverhampton I will be able to build more Regency buildings there because that's somewhat of the time period where it got built up. But if I had to say a second choice as well, it would be English Baroque. Now that's probably a surprise to a lot of people because we don't do any of that on the server as such. I like it because stately homes of that period are just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. So I want to do more of those, and I then am placing that at my number 2 spot. Victorian as a whole just doesn't interest me because the overarching style of the time period is neo-Gothic, and it's not me, really not me. So guys, yeah, thank you for asking that question. That was asked quite a few times. Okay, right, on to another question. So another question here is, will you ever build in another style? Now, I get asked this all the time. People want to see me do medieval, Japanese sort of stuff, and I sort of go to them, it's not me. I got into this game and doing what I do now because I enjoy the realistic styles and the sort of time periods of what I'm building in. If I was to quickly do a step change onto doing medieval, Japanese, some other sort of Asian type style, it wouldn't be me and I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it, and I wouldn't even want to do it, to be honest. I love doing this, and I'll only be doing this while I'm building in this style, if that makes sense. You guys are obviously free to build in whatever you wish, and when you come to our Discord, you're allowed to share whatever you've built, no matter the style or the sort of skill level, so please make sure you do come over and do that. Okay then guys, on to another question. So, another question that I get asked a lot is, why no interiors? Well, I mean, I mainly build exteriors, and building exteriors takes a lot of time. Now, I'm not a person that has tons of time, so I like to prioritise what I do with it. Building interiors for every single building and every single house along a street is impractical in my terms, but it's not just that. On our server we have limited resources. There's about 30 of us building on there, and all of us doing interiors with entities and everything like that would become very, very heavy, and the server would just collapse, fall over, as it did at the beginning of this year. So we transferred over from an old world to a brand new one in February, and doing so has actually allowed us to do a lot more now. but beforehand, buildings had interiors and they just sort of really ground the place to a halt. It's not a hatred for them, and it's not a lack of skills to do it. I do them on large scale buildings. I was going to say do, but that's we're gonna laugh at that. No, probably not. But yeah, I do them on larger buildings, and it just gives that building a bit more sort of look. I did ask you guys the other day as a poll to see whether you felt interiors were important, and I guess that you did, because I think about 80% voted yes on that one. So I was a bit like, oh, okay, I guess I should do some more sometimes. I don't know. Okay, right, let's get on to another question. Did you go to uni? If so, was it architecture you studied? And the answer is yes, I went to uni, and no, it wasn't architecture. So I studied civil engineering. I did that from 2014 to 2017 down in Plymouth, and it was great fun. I learnt tons, and I came out with a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering, and I got my first job sort of straight after that, and it's the same place I've been in now for nearly 4 years. Wow, that's crazy long time ago. But yeah, so I didn't really do architecture because I can't draw. I'm not that creative. I know you guys probably think completely differently, but in my eyes, I can't really come up with a sort of designs for building as such. But I do like infrastructure, and I do like roads, rail, airports, and that sort of stuff. So that's what I got into rather than going down the architecture route. Now, the reason I went and did this channel is because I do have a passion for architectural styles and buildings. So doing these is a way of me drawing, because I can't, like I said, draw, but if I do them on here, it's not actually drawing, it's sort of modeling, so it makes sense to do. But yeah, guys, thanks for that question. Okay, so another question here. Would you do YouTube as a full-time job? Now, this is something I mull over most days to sort of understand whether I would or not. I like my job. I am a civil engineer. I help design airports in a team. I have done for the last 4 years. So sort of giving that up and becoming a YouTuber full time is on my mind, sort of thing. It is a dream. I reckon I could do it for 4 or 5 years at most, and then probably sort of go, this isn't really what I want to do. Not saying that it is, but I've always wanted to be a civil engineer and design things that are actually in the real world as opposed to just in a game. We will see. We will see where you guys take the channel, because it is all up to you really at the end of the day. Okay, so next question. What do you look for in a Minecraft build? So people do ask me this quite often on the Discord channel as to how I judge things. A building being in a landscape with everything around it done and dusted so it looks perfect is what I look for on a build. I don't really look at the build as such. A building can be what it is, but if it's not set in the landscape properly and if it's not done up well, then there's no point in having it. Builds just left in super flat worlds annoy me, really annoy me. I just look at them and go, you haven't even tried. This is sounding really harsh now, but that's, I think every day, because I've seen so many over the last year and a half of doing this, it's crazy to think of just how many builds are left by themselves lonely. That's why I've got into doing a server with loads of other builders on it, so we could build a world together and actually bring buildings together so they sit there and they do something rather than just be built and done with. So yeah, if you want to know what really does make me sort of vote for things or make me really interested, especially the weekly builds, it's having a landscape around it. Okay, moving on to another question. Have you told your friends and families about your channel, and does it affect your personal life? So this is quite an interesting one. I don't shut up about the channel. I go on about it daily to people, to friends, to family, to random strangers on the street that I walk past and go, have you subscribed to me? And they always go, I don't know who you are. And so I hold up my mug and it just says WBC Builds, but backwards, and yeah. Anyway, I don't throw mugs at people in the streets, don't listen to me there. But yeah, so they all know about it, they all support me and enjoy listening to my stories about it. Does it affect my personal life? Well, currently you know what the year is like, what it has been. Personal life isn't really a thing, it's just get up, work, get up, do YouTube. So it kind of is my life now. I don't really do much else at the moment, so that's probably why the channel's doing alright, because I've given it every second of my life. But yeah, guys, thanks for asking that question. Great question there. Okay, so here's another question then. Do you play anything else? And how do you detox from Minecraft? So it's sort of a joint question there. I don't really play much else these days. This game takes up all my time and all my life. But occasionally I do jump onto Battlefield 1 and just play some games there because, again, it's the same sort of time period. I'm very sort of stuck in that period. I don't know why. But Battlefield 1 is a great game. I've been playing it for probably 5 or 6 years now that it's been out. Just really enjoy it. It's one of those proper good shooters. Apart from that, I play World of Warcraft every so often. I have done for the last few years or so. But honestly, there is nothing that's really interested me much in probably the last 3 or 4 years. How do I detox from Minecraft? I don't. I literally play on it until I fall asleep at the desk in my bed. As you can see, it's literally just desk to bed. There isn't much else here, and I don't really detox from it. So whenever I do sort of feel myself coming to a sort of burnout, I tend to just work through it, and it's really dangerous to do so because you end up making stuff you don't really enjoy, and it can really throw you into a spiral of just, I'm done with this game. But honestly, I think for me, the best way to do it is just to find something else to build in the game, something else to do, go off and make another video or something. So that's kind of how I do it. I guess one day I'll need to detox from this game, but who knows when that's going to be. Okay, so where do you see yourself in 5 years is the next question here. I don't actually know, so it's all dependent on how well this channel does. If the channel goes over, I don't know, 100,000 subs by the end of this year, and then we're on to maybe 200,000 next year, I could be doing this full time and I could leave my job for a bit. But I don't know, because I don't really want to leave the job, as I've answered previously, so it's kind of a catch-22 really there. I hope this does well, because it's a great little hobby to carry on with. But yeah, in 5 years time, I like to have my own home. Clearly I'm just living in my parents' house still, because that's what we do in 2021 at the age of 25. I'm not 25 just yet. What's the date? Oh, yeah, so in 5 years time I'll be 30. That's a scary thought. I don't want to think about that. Okay, another question then. Minecraft, why? I don't actually know anymore. I've been playing it for the best part of a decade, and there was something that drew me to the game originally. I think it was just watching the Yogscast play some Survival Island that they did a good 10 years ago. Yeah, I've been playing it since 2011, and it's just stuck with me forever. And honestly, I love it. I don't know what keeps bringing me back. I think it's just a passion I have for buildings and wanting to recreate real life in the game. Maybe you can share some of your stories below as to why you play Minecraft, because it'd be interesting. This game is played by so many in so many different ways that it just is unanimous with gaming at the moment. I don't particularly enjoy too much all of the survival aspects of stuff. I much prefer designing and building stuff, as I don't like doing redstone, but people out there love doing all of it, so that's what makes it a really interesting community. Okay guys, it's time to move on to the final round, which is some quickfire questions. Right, so in the quickfire round we have some questions such as, what is your favourite cheese? Brie, I think. Maybe with some cheddar? I think I like a bit of Stilton. It's really hard to decide on which is my favourite cheese. Okay, can you do a backflip? No. Do you have any pets? Yes, I have 2 dogs. And where are your other milestone builds you promised? Nobody knows. I don't know. Do you know? Were they ever built? Yeah. So what you guys don't know about this is this was a very last minute sort of decision to make a Q&A. There was a build that I had planned with the build team to build something quite interesting and lovely. Now, building takes time, and it's been pushed right down the line now to probably 50,000 subs if we ever reach that. If not, I'll still probably build it anyway. So make sure you sort of stick around and see where that is and what it was. There was a story last year as well. I said at 2,000 subs I would build this lovely museum based on one in Bristol, and I never got around to doing it. And everyone sort of jokes about it now in the Discord, with some of my admins even setting it as their sort of tagline in there saying, where is the 2K build? So guys, that has been my 25,000 sub Q&A session. I hope you've enjoyed listening to a few of my answers to these questions. And if you have any more questions, please head on over to our Discord and read the FAQ sections, or you can just ask questions wherever you like, mainly in just random channels. Why not do that? But still guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.